Hey everyone. Hey everyone, it's Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue. And my very excitable little puppies. I don't know if you can hear that, but Teddy Bear went in the other room to get his squeaky toy when he heard me say hi. So he's pretty excited. That's how I can tell he's excited. And I don't see Benji rummaging just yet, but I know he's excited too. So good morning to everyone. It's a beautiful day here in New England, north of Boston, in the fair city of Peabody. And we are going to have another great show for our Cricut craft, our Cricut Chat crafting friends. I'm going to say Cricut Chat crafting because sometimes people don't like it when we chat, but you know what? This is kind of our space and we do what we want. So we chat here. And today I thought, in anticipation of the summer, which kind of unofficially starts this weekend, Memorial Day weekend. And we've had weather here that feels like it, feels like summer is already upon us. I thought that we would do some cutting with the Rotary Blade. We're using the Rotary Blade today and my maker. If you don't have a Rotary Blade or you don't have a maker, you can still watch and learn about glitter iron-on, because glitter iron-on is kind of its own animal, and especially cutting it, and you can hear the squeaky. I know, he's very excited. And so we're going to be doing a couple of things here. We're going to be doing glitter iron-on, and then we're going to be doing canvas. Part of this project requires a little bit of sewing, and I decided that I would not show you that part, but I'll talk about it. It's just a little too much for me to get in my purview until I reset up everything this weekend. So hopefully this weekend we'll be able to do some, after this weekend, we'll be able to do some like bigger projects, because we'll be doing, I'll have a bigger like space, right? So let's talk a little bit about canvas, and I'll mention burlap too. So canvas and burlap are two of my favorite fabrics, and I'm going to show you what I've got here. I did buy this stuff on Amazon. This is canvas. It is often called duck, and actually duck is a little bit thicker, but I'm actually going to cut this on the duck setting. It came in a really large piece. I think I got 2 yards of it. And it's a great outdoor fabric. It's really a summertime fabric, I think. It's also good for, things like hiding or tarping or, and everything. But it's a really fun fabric to work with. It would make nice outdoor pillows. And it's a great blank canvas for iron-on. So this is canvas. And when you see, like, for instance, when you see canvas, you might also consider it being called duck. Duck is usually thicker, but actually I did cut this. I cut this ahead of time, and I used my Rotary Blade, but I used a different setting, so I'm going to try the duck setting today. Also there is to be said burlap. I love burlap. However, it makes me sneeze. It's probably why I was sneezing yesterday. Something in it makes me sneeze. Now, burlap can have different weaves, and this one is a very loose weave. And so I'm hoping we can try cutting this. I did buy it, but I was hoping for a tighter weave. I think a tighter weave is going to cut better, but that's not to say we can't use this burlap for some other project. I will link both of these that I got on Amazon. And of course, you can buy this stuff at Joann's or fabric.com or anything like that. And then when it comes, you will have to cut it down into like a 12 by 12 inch size or 12 by 24, depending on what your project is. And so we're going to be making banners that are kind of like pointed on the bottom, and then you'll notice it has these rough edges, and actually when you use the rotary blade it still has some raw edges. So I would suggest after cutting it that you do a hem stitch around it and then use the top flap to create like a loop, sort of like what we did with dog scarves. Okay. Thank you, Carrie. I think canvas, when I see canvas, it just reminds me of boating. And so that's why I came up with this project. And I'm losing my voice, sorry. I came up with this project using this glitter iron-on. And I'll give you the images for this as well. And it was, I'll say, glitter iron-on is not an easy thing to cut, which is why with the brand new machines, I was super excited to see that Smart Iron-On has a lot of glitters. Yeah, I think there are some people having some problems with sound or freezing up. I don't know what that's about. I apologize. I'm going to keep going, and I don't know. I'm looking at my monitor, and it seems like we have a good connection. Sorry for anything that might be happening with the Wi-Fi or whatever, with the whatever you call it. Anyway, so let's talk about fabric. When you're cutting fabric, first of all, if you're a seamstress or somebody who likes to sew, like last year when we had the pandemic, everybody was making masks. The machines are really good at cutting, particularly the maker. I should say the maker is really good at cutting fabrics, but you can't do really, really large projects on them. So, I mean, you can go as large as the 12 by 24 inch. So masks and things like this, smaller things, quilting squares and things like that are a good thing to cut here. And so we've done dog bandanas, and we've done felt squares and things like that. So when you're thinking about cutting fabric, you would probably need a maker. Now, if you have an Explorer, any kind of an Explorer, it will cut, but you're using a different blade for it, and they tend to bond the fabric here. So because of that, I've always just cut with my maker. And I have got this on the fabric grip mat. So, but I've cut it also on a strong grip mat. The important thing is when you put it onto the mat, it has to be really, really well on there. And that's where a brayer is good. But if you have anything sort of peeking up like this and it doesn't stay down, the best trick for this is to put a little bit of masking tape on your fabric. Masking tape is a low tack tape, and it won't spoil your material. It even is okay to use for paper cardstock. I use it all the time and actually buy it in large quantities, and I usually buy this size. Okay, so It's just a good idea. It holds it down. You don't necessarily need it on all four areas, but you can do it on this one. So I'm going to take you back up to the screen because we're going to talk about cutting with the maker. I want to make sure I have the entire screen in there, and I think I do. Okay, so this file, and I will give it to you, so don't worry. This file is basically kind of a modified dog scarf. It's just a little bit longer, and it was created using a triangle and a square, and we're going to cut this out. Now, I cut this out fairly big. It's 11 inches because I wanted to make sure that my cutouts were going to fit on there. And I needed this space at the top and sort of around here because I know I'm going to have a raw edge. And so I need to make my cutouts to be the maximum is 9 inches, and I have 4 cutouts. I'm going to cut out the green one today and the canvas. Okay, so let me just subtract these, but I'll give you this. Okay, so we're going to duplicate this just so that you can see how this is done. So we're going to hit make it, and I duplicated the actual hanging part, and then here is our it's going to be our iron-on. So we're going to mirror this one. So you don't have to mirror your entire project, and you don't have to cut it separately because we can change the project material or the cut setting as we go. So we're going to go to Browse All Materials, and we're going to look at the fabrics. So here's fabrics. Look at how many different fabrics that the Cricut can cut. I mean, just a ton. And I actually got a shipment of oilcloth in this week. So I'm going to show you how to cut that later on, probably early next week. If you don't know what oilcloth is, it's kind of like a plasticized cotton. I think that's probably the best way to explain it. It used to be like a canvas that was coated with oil. That's why they call it oilcloth, but now it's become more of a plasticized cotton canvas. So what we're going to be looking for is either canvas or duck, and I will show you here. There's also denim, and quite a few really thick, like here we go, extra heavy fabrics like burlap, and then also some really, really beautiful and dainty fabrics like silks, georgette, gossamer, and all of that. Now, I want to look at the material settings on these because, as I mentioned, I did cut this out with first under canvas. So here's canvas, and you see that this first column, which is the pressure, is 1925. I don't know, what is that, like DPI, or I don't know what that is, but just in terms of for comparison's sake, that's a little bit high considering cardstock is 182. And when you would go across, you'll see that it has the rotary blade. So this is what I chose. I chose canvas with the rotary blade the first time, but then it didn't cut all the way through. So I did a trick where I cut it a second time while it was still in the machine. That worked very well. But then I started looking around and I found this, which is duck cloth. So duck cloth is a little bit more pressure, but also the rotary blade. So I think we're going to choose this duck cloth. And if I don't see that it's cut all the way through the first time, I'll show you how we go ahead and cut it twice. So I'm just looking to get out of here now. Okay, so we're going to go to Browse All Materials. We'll go to the fabric, and we're going to choose duck cloth, okay? And you'll notice here on the screen that we're going to put in our rotary blade. You can also increase pressure here to more, and it will cut it a little bit more. But I feel pretty confident with the duck cloth and the rotary blade. So I'm going to take my first mat of the duck cloth. I will move you in just a second. Okay, so here it is, duck cloth that we put a little bit of masking tape on the top. I'm going to put it into my machine, and then I am going to take my rotary blade. Now, rotary blade, it's a special blade just for the maker. Remember that it's not part of the adjustable system. It is a blade in and of itself. This tip does not come off, and it is quite sharp. You will need to, if you use this a lot, you will need to change the blade once in a great while. And there is a rotary blade, like a change out, replacement blade available. But I don't use this all that much. So I'm going to take out from clamp B my regular blade and housing and put it aside. And then I'm going to take my rotary blade and see where the little teeth are. We're going to match it up in the back here. See that? And then we close the clamp just like that. And that's all there is to it. I'm sorry that people are losing me. It doesn't look like it's on my end, but who knows? Maybe it is. So we're going to then just hit this button and we'll watch it go. It's really quite interesting. You'll see that the blade actually moves around a little bit. And if you put in the wrong blade, by the way, if you didn't put in the rotary blade, the machine would stop. Okay. And you can almost hear it cutting that fabric, but we're going to check it out before we take I can hear it going through, so it sounds pretty good. Yeah, it does look like that it went through, although there's some parts that are not. So here's what we'll do. We're going to press this button again. Don't press this button. Keep it in the machine and press this button again, and it will just simply cut over it. This is a little trick that a lot of people don't know about, but that's super helpful if you have an issue with it not cutting all the way through. It did cut, but I'm seeing like it's like a little blip here, and I don't like that. I want it to be a nice clean cut. So by doing this way, so I guess we didn't get around it by using the duck. Oh, too bad. But I think it should be all the way. Yes, it's now all the way. But this is a pretty thick, I think the only thing thicker that I can think of is like maybe a heavy denim. And so here it is. We're going to take off our Okay, so we have our masking tape here, which is causing a little bit of problems. And you see that there are just a couple of little spots. Sometimes it just can't get all of those. But here is our cutout. Isn't that great? And it's still a raw edge, so you're going to want to, when you get to this place and you've cut out your pieces, and you can cut out as many as you want, obviously. You could even double these up, but what I am planning on doing is just sewing around the edges like so, maybe a 1/2 inch or 1/4 of an inch, and just sort of creating a nice clean edge here on these 4 sides. And then here I will fold it over ever so slightly, maybe for a dowel, and I will and I will sew it here. So I can put a dowel in there, and then maybe like some twine if I wanted to hang this outside. It would create like a little flag or a wall hanging. You don't have to do it outside, obviously. So that's how to do it. Now this is glitter iron-on, and I will tell you that this is something that people really struggle with, myself included. Glitter iron-on does not stick very well onto your mat because the actual transfer tape, this one here, is rather thick. You see, so which is why the new machines that have glitter iron-on, you don't need to use, if it's a smart material, you don't need to use a mat. But I always suggest using that masking tape again for the glitter iron-on, which I am going to do, because I can even see, even if you have a really nice new mat, you might have something like that where it sticks up. So I'm going to take a little bit of masking tape and hold it down. Now, sometimes I have had to tape all 4 sides down. I mean, that it's sometimes so rolled up. But this one hasn't been rolled up. This piece hasn't been rolled up. Another thing that you can do is you can roll it going the opposite way. See how this is rolled up? I actually taped this down, and you can see the tape right here because it's always in this, rolled position. What you can do before you cut it is you can roll it the other way. Like this, and it will take some of that curve out of it, but it's pretty well set in there because of the way that it was stored for so long in the roll. I'm sorry that everybody's having problems. I don't understand why that is, but I'm going to keep pushing along, and then we'll save it for the replay. So if you miss anything, you'll see it on the replay. Okay, so we're going to cut this glitter vinyl. So I'm going back up here, and I am going to change my base material to, let's get my my thing, what do you call that? My mouse, and I'm going to choose iron-on glitter. Make sure if you're using iron-on that you're using the right setting. Don't just use the everyday iron-on for everything. Go to the glitter iron-on or the glitter mesh or even the holographic iron-on, depending on what it is. There really are differences in quite a few of these, so it's best to choose the right setting. Sure, it's all iron-on, but different types require different types of setting. Now, in this case, we are going to need to change out our rotary blade and put back in our regular blade and housing. And here we go. I have my glitter iron-on. I'm going to put that in, and this is just a basic cut that we're doing. But what you want to avoid doing here is that the iron-on can sometimes lift, and it causes a problem with the contact from the needle or from the blade, and could cause a problem. Now, glitter iron-on is a little bit, I don't think we need to, I actually have it on the wrong, I cut the wrong thing. So I cut the wrong mat. I apologize. I'm going to put this back in, and I'm going to cut this mat, get this going. Glitter iron-on. Okay, so let's talk about weeding glitter, it can be a little bit difficult. I would suggest, when I first started doing this project, I was making my pieces very small, and this was a real bear to weed. This one, not so much, but you can see here, there's a lot of little pieces in here, and weeding it can be a little bit troublesome, and sometimes you accidentally lift pieces that you have no intention, or you had no intention of weeding. So do be careful when you have a small piece like this. And here's another one with a very small piece, and you can see these little pieces all in here. And one of the little tricks that I do when I'm using glitter vinyl is that a lot of times you have hair iron on. Now, if you have a dog in your house, and you cut this out, and even if you just leave it on your desk, sometimes you'll end up with dust, or maybe it falls on the ground and you get all kinds of dirt, and you might think, oh gee, I gotta cut this thing again. It was such a pain, and the glitter vinyl, it's kind of costly, and so maybe some people just kind of figure, oh no, I'm not doing glitter vinyl. Well, believe it or not, what you can do for these little pieces and for the hair, see there's hair right there, is to actually use your lint roller, and it will pull up like this. And I always do this at my house because I just have dog hair everywhere. So once I'm done with weeding it, I will give it the once over. You may have to actually, you may not be able to do this, but you may have to kind of give it like a hand in getting it over. But it will remove, you can see all those little teeny tiny pieces and hair. Okay, so let's just weed this one, which I did in a larger, it's a flamingo. But see here, this is my masking tape that got stuck on the actual iron-on, but I'm just going to peel that off, because if I don't, it won't stick well to the canvas. So here we go. I'm going to start at the edge here and start peeling away like this. And glitter iron-on has a real kind of fabric-y kind of a feel to it. It's not nearly as like flexible. And look, I've even like sort of cut it, broke through to the surface there. So it's kind of, it's a little bit frustrating. So go ahead and take your time with it, and don't get impatient. If you get impatient, just walk away for a few minutes. Sometimes you just need a break, and you have to just be in the right frame of mind to do some of these materials. Okay. So they're not the normal experience. I think a lot of times when people first get their machines, they're like, ooh, I'm going to try holographic. I'm going to try vinyl, glitter vinyl and stuff like that, because it's shiny and ooh, it's exciting. But unfortunately, those are the ones that need a little bit more patience and skill. And so sometimes you're better off just starting off with the basics and then working your way up. So here I am just weeding around in this spot. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the full thing, but well, might as well. Okay. So here we go. And you do need to really use a lot of force with this. There we go. There's the majority of it. And then we'll go back and weed all these little pieces out just like this. And little feet. Here we go. I think Nancy, if she's on today, if she could make it on today, would love this because Nancy loves flamingos. I love flamingos too. There's a lot of really good flamingo images in Design Space. So if you're a fan, definitely do a search for flamingo. And this is what I came up with for one of them. But there's definitely more of them in there. So I'm just weeding through. Here we go. And this is where it gets a little bit hairy, you see right here. That's why I kind of am enjoying doing it in a larger piece. So here we go. Tomorrow being Friday, it's 3D Friday, so we're going to actually do a Memorial Day craft. We're going to do some little lanterns that are free from Dreaming Tree, and I will post a link to them so that you can easily find them. So we're going to do, there's actually two that I want to show you. One is like a patriotic one, but if you're not into the patriotic motif, then there's also one that is a Firefly, and I'll show you that one too in case you want to do that one. They both go together the same exact way, and in fact there are actually several of them that you can get, and they're all free. It's really quite a cute little thing to make and great for your table. You put a little LED light in there and you let it go, and as the sun goes down on your picnic or on your barbecue, it just gives a nice little light on it. So we're just being patient, and definitely when you're weeding, you want to keep checking, bringing it up. Where do I put the pieces? I just kind of move them to the side. When you're cutting the everyday iron-on, it's rather like got kind of like a static cling and can sometimes stick back to your material. But this iron-on doesn't really come and do that, which is nice. This glitter stuff. Now, in the event that you sort of lift up a piece that shouldn't be lifted up for, I don't know, is there a place where I've done that? Not really. Look at this. Look at how it's a flower. So cute. So in the event that you do lift up a piece, you can actually kind of push it back down onto the transfer tape. And the transfer tape is important because that's how we're going to, it's really called a carrier sheet. I call it transfer sheet, but it's going to save the glitter vinyl from getting too much heat on the actual vinyl itself. We don't have to worry about washing this because it's going to be like kind of a wall hanging. Okay, so here you go. See, I'm trying to pick up this part and I think I'm picking up the wrong part. Yeah, so this part's sort of sticking back, so just go ahead and press it back on there, and I'm just looking to see where else that I have to remove right in here, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to use my Easy Press Mini to do this, so let me remove all of this stuff and get my Easy Press Mini out. My cute little Easy Press Mini, and I want to show you how I know how to use this with glitter iron-on. I'm coming up to my screen now, and I'm going to just open a web browser. Okay, so here is a web browser. Let me just show you this. open. And I'm going to type in my Google, I have Google, whatever you have, Cricut heat press, okay? And it will bring me to, heat press guide. Heat guide. It's called the Cricut Heat Guide. Here we go. So I've gone here quite a bit, and here it is. So a lot of people don't know about this heat guide, and they really should. Even if they have a different kind of a press, or they're using an iron, they can use this guide. Okay. So what we're going to do is choose whichever press we're going to do. Today we're going to use the Easy Press Mini. Then we're going to choose the material that we actually are cutting, which is glitter. Okay. And then as a base material, we're going to choose 100% cotton, because canvas is 100% cotton. Okay, so let's do that. And we're going to hit apply. And you'll see, not only do you get the supplies and the prep and the application and how to care for it, they give you a little graphic here. We have to preheat for 5 seconds, preheat the actual material for 5 seconds, and then we're going to have it on medium, which is the two wavy. So when we turn this on, we're going to put it on 2. And it does take a minute or so to warm up, and I put it in its little cradle until it's warmed up. But let's go back to this. Preheat for 5 seconds, and then medium heat for 25 seconds. And you have to keep a constant movement and light pressure. Once you do that, you can flip it over and press the back for 15 seconds. It's best to remove glitter iron-on when it's really cool to the touch, so we will try to do that. And let's see here. I'm going to bring you down. All right, so here's my Easy Press mat. It's a little dirty. And this is the small one. It comes in like 3 or 4 sizes. I have them all, but I like this one. It works really, really well with this. A mat is really a good thing, although you can use a towel if you need to. You can't use a towel if you're doing infusible ink, so you might want to consider purchasing one if you decide to do infusible ink. The mat has, in addition to being nice and squishy, which actually helps with the application, it also has inside like a heat, it gives off heat from the inside, which is important because this is called heat transfer vinyl or iron-on. Okay, so mine just beeped, and I'm just going to actually try to get a couple of these little wrinkles out, although it won't really matter because eventually it's going to go outside. It might look a little wrinkly anyway, but that's just me, and I'm actually doing the preheating anyway, right? So let's use this one. Here is the sun. Now remember, we need some space at the top here. We do need some space at the top to put our dowel in. So I'm going to actually put my sun down closer to the point here. See that? Down closer to the point. And just arrange it so that your whole design is on the mat. You don't want it hanging over because that could cause the iron-on not to adhere very well. So here it is. It's hot. It's very hot. Do not touch it. It's also no steam. We do not need steam when we're doing iron-on. And what we're going to do is, in our head, we're going to kind of count for 25 seconds. But it's 25 seconds with constant movement. So I end up always doing it more than the 25 seconds. And then I do always kind of go back and forth and around in circles because you never know. Sometimes you need to have that kind of a contact with your iron on. Okay, so we'll do this for the 25 seconds after we've preheated. And I'm going to just test over here. It looks like it is coming off. And we're going to flip it around in a second. I'm just super, like, overly paranoid about it not coming off and sticking. Once it's stuck on there, it does stay on there pretty good. So let's flip it over. And you can actually see it's almost through the canvas, which is kind of cool. We're just doing the back for the 15 seconds. Now we have to let this cool. So while we let it cool, I do have a small piece of, where is it? Is this it? Yeah, I have a small piece of canvas. So I can try this other one that I cut out. Let's see if I can find it. Find it. Okay. So here's the pineapple. We'll do it on this one as well. Preheat for 5 seconds. And we don't have to worry about placement on this because this is just sort of a test. And we're going to do the 25 seconds here. I like this little mini. I think it's really easy to handle. The bigger one is kind of a little hard to handle, but you know, you do have to move it around. The bigger one, once you put it in place, it's sort of in place for the whole time, and that's a good thing about it. But I do like the smaller one. I don't know, maybe I'm a wimp. But here we go. There's the 25 seconds. Flip it around. And do 15 seconds on this side. Okay. So we'll let that cool and we'll bring this one back. It's all cool. I'm not turning off my Easy Press yet because I might have to come back and hit it like right here. You see that? We want to make sure that that's fully attached because we don't want for it to be sort of lifting. So come back and sort of hit those points really well. We don't want it to be a place where it's going to sort of peel off. That would not look good. I'm doing all of them, but I only saw it on this one. So let's let it cool. Let's see if our pineapple is done. Yep. So there's the pineapple. It's coming off in this orange neon, really kind of 1980s color. But isn't that great? Doesn't that look really awesome on that canvas? It's going to look cute. I can actually cut this down to be a smaller thing. This also would make a really nice pillow. And you could make a pillow, like an outdoor pillow with canvas. Here we go. So it's peeling off quite nicely. I do always kind of, right here I see a little bit of lift. That came off well, but right up here is a little bit of lift. So what I'm doing is just peeling most of it, and then I'm just going to come back and just hit that for just a couple seconds, just because it seems like a little point that it doesn't want to stick. Now, in terms of doing this project, if you want to do this project start to finish, my feeling is cut the canvas first, whether you choose to cut it on the machine or by hand. Cut the canvas first and then do the sewing. Okay, do the sewing, so then you know the exact area. But because we had to skip that step, we are doing this, and then obviously you put the iron on. Let's see, and there it is. Isn't that beautiful? What do you guys think? I think it's beautiful. And again, so to finish this up, I would take and roll the seams, maybe press the seams down with my iron, or I could use my easy press iron like this, and then pin it, and then just sew with a neutral color, or maybe if you had nylon, neon color thread would be kind of cool. You could also use some sort of bias tape, or a rickrack. You remember rickrack? I do. And then, let me just, all right, so we do all those sides, and then we would fold this top side like this, and sew it along here and put a dowel in it, and you have a lovely sun. This one's a sun, neon, wall hanging or outdoor hanging. Imagine having a few of them hanging in the breeze on your patio. I think that's what I'm going to do with mine. And it's really kind of fun. So don't, if you did get this neon iron on, don't shy away from it, because it's really kind of fun and it just screams summertime. So I hope that this has been useful to you guys, and remember to use that heat press guide. It's right there. Yes, you could probably print it, but they do update this. As you can see, they have the mug press here, and so they do update it. I've actually never used the mug press for the heat transfer. Oh, okay, so there's marker and there's transfer sheet, so I don't know. Use the pen. No, let's just use a transfer sheet and the base material. So they give you, I don't think that it's much different, but it does give you all of the directions. So in case you didn't know how to use your Easy Press mug, it guides you, which is what it is. It's a heat press guide. Yeah, I love Rick Rack, but that was kind of a 70s thing, I think. Rick Rack was a 70s thing, but I like that stuff. You can still buy it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. I will see you tomorrow. We're going to do those lanterns, which you can pick up at Dreaming Tree. Their URL is 3dsvg.com. There you go. And when you get there, you will go to, I don't know why it's loading. Okay, you go here to free files, and I will give you the direct link, but you can see that there are free tea lights, and the one that we're going to do, actually it's two we'll do. One is patriotic, but here, look, there's a hot air balloon one. And let's see, there's a snowflake one. We're not going to do that one, but, and this is the one we're going to do, patriotic. And let me just make sure that I show you the Firefly one. Where's the Firefly one? Oh, here's one that's a fish scale, and here's one that's a scalloped seashells. That's really cute. and you could do that in glitter. So there's quite a few of these, so don't feel like you have to do the patriotic one, but I'm going to show you start to finish. There is this one. There's a butterfly one and a dragonfly one. They're so pretty and they are free, and I'm going to show you how to make them tomorrow. So I hope you can join me tomorrow. All right, everyone, I hope you have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow for the last day of Cricut Chat. And by the way, I am going to be taking Saturday night off so that I can do a lot of cleaning and overhauling of my craft space. So I hope you don't mind, but I will be taking Saturday off. I'll probably be back on Monday morning though for our 9 o'clock show. Thanks everybody for coming. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take care. Get some crafting in. Bye.